Kickstarter preview for Kicking the Habit. This week we're going to be looking at Sheeple, the best game in the universe. It's going up on Kickstarter real soon. The goal of this video is to give you everything you need to know about Sheeple so you can decide whether it's a worthwhile investment or if you want to go out on a lamb and invest your hard-won Kickstarter bucks. After all, no one wants to be fleeced. Quick aside, these are a series of new videos that we're doing for BGA. This is not a review. You'll see it says preview. And it's really designed to give you an idea of this game, whether it's a good fit for you, if you want to go ahead and check it out. So I won't be rendering final verdict, but you will be able to see how it plays, what comes in the box. In this particular case, we're looking at prototype components, but keep in mind that we will mention that where necessary. All right. So let's dive into this game, Sheeple. As I said, these are not final components. This is a fairly nice prototype. It shows off the final artwork, all the sheep puns, which I'll be sharing with you as we go. But everything else is, it's going to be upgraded. It'll be final, depending on where it backs at. There's also some additional stuff that I know might be added to the game along the way through Kickstarter, the stretch goals and stuff. At least 2 variants that were mentioned, so I will also mention those as we go through. All right, so let's hop over to the table and take a look. All right, guys, so as I said, here we have Sheeple, the quote-unquote best game in the universe. It is a party game, and the goal of the game is similar to games like Apples to Apples and Cards Against Humanity. You're trying to guess what other people are thinking and vice versa. But very specifically, you're trying to get people to guess, but not too easily, all right? So I'm going to show you how this all works. So again, this is a prototype of the game. So not final components, if you're wondering. And we'll just leave that over there. And here we have the rules. As you can see, it's a fairly simple game. We have 1 page of rules, as any good party game should have. Game's going to come with a board, not this mat. So this is just kind of you'll see there. And we have all these cards and some components. And I'm just showing you everything that's in the package here. I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to show you everything shortly so you can actually see what it looks like in play. Here are your little sheeples. I have not punched them yet as of recording this. Have played without them just so you could see what they look like. But you'll be able to see these on the board shortly once I get everything set up. So it comes with these guys. Various sheeple. You've got your astronaut sheeple, your police sheeple, your fireman sheeple, and I'm sure they all have good puns to go with them as well. I'm not a pun guy, but you know how it is. And we have various different types of categories. So you have, like, this is exercises, things people hate about school, Star Wars characters. We're going to get to all those shortly. And then we have game cards as well. They're going to have you do certain things. So moving on the map. So that's what comes in the box, and it's, as you can see, it'll be relatively quick to set up. It's also going to be relatively straightforward to teach, again, as you want out of any good Kickstarter game. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out, set this up for you, and we're going to hop right back and take a look. All right, guys, we are back, and Sheeple is set up and ready to play. As you can see, this is a party game. It plays 4 to 10 players. I've set up 4 right now, just to keep it simple while showing you the game, but it comes with 10 of these little dudes, little sheep, various types. This is a teacher. We have a judge. You'll have enough of those to play, with up to 10 people. You're going to pop all those out. You're going to put them on the stands. You're going to set them up in the elementary school. You're going to love these puns. I know I do. And then each player is going to have a pad of paper, a pencil, and their own marker. So I have paper and a pen right here. I'm not sure if the final game is going to come with pads and paper. If not, I mean, there's nothing special about it. You just need a piece of paper. So just be writing down your answers. So you're going to start everybody there. The youngest sheep goes first. And the goal is to get all the way up here to the university. So you're going to be going along this track, and then eventually get to the university. On your turn, if you are the shepherd, you're going to be drawing a card from this deck, and it has various different categories on it. So we have ways to communicate or spread information, materials used to make art, and memorable moments in life. You're going to choose one of the 3, read it out loud so everybody knows what it is, and then Everybody's going to have 60 seconds. So we have a sand timer here. We're going to flip it over, and you're going to write furiously on your paper as many things as you can think of that match that particular category. You're looking for items. These can be objects, people, places, ideas, actions, descriptive words, adjectives, phrases, a word, really anything you can think of that really fits that is a good fit. The thing you're trying to do here, though, is you're not just trying to make a giant list of words. What you're trying to do is think like other people would think, or Sheeple would think. You're trying to get down items that are common, yet a little unique. So the ideal goal here, it's kind of like Dixit, where you don't want everybody to be the same, but you want a couple people to be the same. It's like finding a fine balance, but if nobody gets what you're saying, then you're being a little too unique, right? So you have to try to be a sheep, but not like a super boring, lame sheep who just thinks of the same stuff as everybody else. So you scribble all those down. They can each be more than one word. You can use abbreviations if you're trying to write really fast. You only have a minute. And then when the timer is up, you can finish writing that last item, and then you're going to compare your items, right? And this is where the scoring comes in. So the items that were stated out loud, right? So before you started scoring, before anybody started writing, or that are used as examples for the category card. So let's say somebody says the category and they're like, all right, so household objects like a microwave or a toaster. You can't write down microwave or toaster. Those are freebies. So you're going to cross all of those off the list. So somebody might have written it down not thinking about it, or maybe they didn't hear that person, but you're just going to cross those all off to start to make sure everybody's on the same page, right? And then after that, you're going to, whoever's turn it is, they're going to read out their list of items, and then everybody else who has a matching item is going to raise their hand or hoof, and they're going to score everything as follows. If you match exactly one, you get 2 points to each player. So that's cool, right? If there are 2 other people who have the same thing, it's worth 1 point to each player. And if it matches with nobody, it is worth no points. So you get the most points if you match with one other person. If you match with a whole bunch of people, it's still fine. You're still going to get points. It's not like Dixit where you shoot the moon and get 0 if everybody guessed it. But it's not as good. Ideally, you want to get the 2. Now, keep in mind, though, you're also getting other people points. So if, let's say, you're playing with your spouse or something, anytime you guys are on the same page, you're both scoring. So you're not going to beat them doing that. You got to keep that in mind. And then once you score, you're going to go through, you're going to read them all off, you're going to go around the table, and then you're going to take whatever your points were, and that's how you're going to move on the map here. So let's say our little military man, he gets 4, he got 1 exact match and 2 secondary matches. So he's going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These particular little blue spaces, they have card draws, right? And so you're going to draw one of these cards, and it says, pay by your own wools. Pay by your own wools, guys. And then move forward 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the board is also printed some stuff. So I'm going to zoom in there for you. And it says, learn about the lamb who assassinated Abraham Lincoln. So you get the idea, right? You're going to be moving back and forth. You're going to be trying to maximize your ability to move along this map. And that was 1 turn, right? I got 4 points. I'm all the way up here. I'm already probably, a quarter of the way there. So it's not a long game. You're probably going to go around the table. Depending on how many players you have, you might not even get around the entire table, Some people might write down 10 or 15 words in a turn and get 10 or 15 points and then go, run all the way on the board here. So there's lots of stuff here. Most of them are move forward, move back, various different ways, and it's just different excuses to have puns. You've got things like, let's see here. That one's upside down. Wool trimmed unevenly before the prom. Bleeding hearts. Become a sheer leader. Fall for a sheep trick. Be a unique individual. Double pun. Nice. So lots of good stuff there. It winds back and forth, and it's really just a way to keep track of points, but not just a straight point meter. So, you might get the extra cards, bump along. You'll see here, too, once you get to the end, you can overshoot it. So this is the goal. right? So once somebody gets here, that's going to trigger the end of the game, but you might shoot past it, right? So let's say 3 people get here in the same round, but someone ends here, someone ends up, becomes an entrepreneur, someone plays for the Rams, and someone else competes in the Olympics. And so the person who played in the Olympics is going to win that one, all right? So that is pretty much the game right there. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. You will go through this deck. You can see here there are lots and lots of cards. Something like 108, I think, was the total number of category cards in the game. And that makes it so you have a lot of options. You're going to be able to play this game over and over again. And each one of them has 3 on it. So that gives you some options as well. All right. So some other stuff to keep in mind. Like I said, 108 different cards. Lots and lots of options here. Each of them has 3. Play through all that stuff. Then the base game, this is pretty much everything you're seeing here, right? It's $25 plus any stretch goals. So I'm not sure what all those will include. I think there's some card upgrades, some board upgrades, some additional cards being added to the game, just to give you more categories to play through. There are some upgrade options. I don't necessarily have them in front of me now, but I know there is a not safe for work deck, which is kind of a must-have for any party game these days. There's a collector's edition that's a signed copy of the game you can back as well. There are new characters, new pun cards, new category cards, 2 new variants, including the NSFW version I mentioned, and some extra components. And in terms of the variants that come in the box already, right, this core I've shown you is just Sheeple, right? It's a sheer bounty of sheep puns, but there are more ways to play the game. So you can play team play, so you can work together. So you can see on the other side of the match here, this is the rule book. We've got teams or flocks, and so everybody will, you can play 4 to 10 teams, which means you could play then 8 to 20 players, which is ridiculous. Not in a bad way, it's just a lot of people. And then when a flock reads aloud their items, all the flock members' items are pooled together and treated like they were part of a single list. Duplicates are removed. So you're going to have somebody who reads on behalf of that group. So it actually is going to ramp up. You're going to get even more points. It'll speed up the game to some degree. I don't know how many people you want to crowd around this board, but it's an option, right? You also have a children's version of the game. So this is the Lambs version. And when you're playing the lamb-friendly categories, that's the blue dots on the cards. So 2 of them are already like that. You can see. So we have jungle animals, rooms in a mansion, or fake things. And the blue dots tend to just be very specifically these things, like list of cold things or musical instruments, right? Very specific. Children can think very finitely about these things. The red ones tend to be a little more abstract or maybe pop culture related. So fake things, government jobs, types of healing or medical substance. I think one of them was Star Wars characters we saw earlier. Words that start with U. These might be a little tougher for a child to kind of figure out. So again, a good reason to avoid, to keep it that way. And if you're playing with, you heard it here first, folks. If you want some slick sheep puns and a new spin on a party game classic, you got Sheeple. It's on Kickstarter now. This is what you get. Again, these are not final components, so keep that in mind. All right, guys, that is everything for this preview of Sheeple. Make sure to check it out on Kickstarter now. There are a whole bunch of different pledge options. I'll put those in the notes for the video. You can also hop over to BoardGamersAnonymous.com and you can see all that stuff written up, or of course check out the Kickstarter page itself and see what kind of stuff's on tap for the for stretch goals and whatnot. So if you're interested, if you like sheep puns, there you go, something worth checking out for you. That's everything for this episode of Kicking the Habit and our Kickstarter preview series. Until next time, thanks everybody.